Hi, intrepid viewers. If you're new to this channel, I'm Dr. Lena. I'm a sociologist and an outspoken Australian. We're very blunt. So if you're a bit delicate, this probably isn't the right channel for you, because here we tend to say what we say, right? And none of it is flattering to the ex-president. Now, I want to thank everybody who wrote in. I did a rave last week how we romanticized the 50s, and there were lots of fun things going on in the 50s, but lots of it was quite dark. And I was flooded with comments from women saying what happened in their lives in the 50s. So thank you all for taking the time and the trouble to post. People forget. They forget. Okay, in other interesting news, viewers have come up with great names. Now, my personal favourite is saying that the Yeti is a bino. He's a billionaire in name only. How much do you love that? I think we have to refer to him maybe now as the bino. Look, I love it so much. Meanwhile, his own people are proudly wearing Cult 45 t-shirts. Okay, not ashamed of being in a cult. No, he is the cult leader, Cult 45. Unbelievable. Okay, so in any event, the bino has been stuck for 2 days in a courtroom. Can't be happy. I mean, when was the last time he had to sit in one chair, for 7 hours, and he can't get access to all his Diet Cokes every 5 minutes. He must take the lunch break and chug-a-lug down a dozen Cokes. It's not easy in New York finding an impartial jury. I will grant them that. Why? Because New Yorkers know the man. But they have managed to impanel 7, so they're making progress. Right? But what I was wondering about, and I'm sure you guys are too, in the Engeron case and the huge judgment, 450 million, then the appeals court dialed it back to 175. We know the story. Then he got his new best friend from night security to go, I could do this. Only 175 mil. And then, of course, Letitia James and others pushed back going, who is this company? Have they really got that sort of liquidity? What is the story here? Now, they were given a 10-day extension to get that. That was weeks ago. How come he's got this very precious extension? And they're only going to give a hearing on night security, I think on the 24th of April or something, next week or beyond. So he gets away with so much. So let's have a look at the bond. Will night security's bond be accepted or not? Yeah, they're all rich till it comes to parting with money, aren't they? What's going to happen with night security? Will it be accepted? Okay. Oh, one of my cards is round the wrong way. A couple of them. Okay, let's shuffle again. So while I'm shuffling, another viewer has taken to calling the Supreme Court the extreme court. I like that too, and I've got a question on them in a minute. In the meantime, night security. Let's have a look. Money, money, money. All right, well, look, the main card that jumped out first, 5 of Pentacles, out in the cold, I thought, oh, good. But the other cards are a bit, okay. So at the moment, just looking in, it doesn't look good for night security. But this is where the system kicks in with the Hierophant. Okay, government, law and order. Now, we have the King and Queen of Pentacles. So I think this is two major players. This could be Engeron and Letitia James, or it could be Judge Beryl Jones. Is that her name? She's the one who's got the task, the poor pet, of having to sift through the money. I think it's more likely to be her. They will be talking, and the ruling. The ruling, I think, will be against night security. But because this guy is the original Teflon Don, although he's now Don Snorleone, I love it. This isn't absolute. There could be some wriggle room for him. But I'm hoping justice will prevail and the company is suspect. And here's the other thing. This guy, Hanky, who's now jumped on, every channel saying I'm a rich guy. And now I think there's quite a good chance his company could be investigated. Right. So, in other good news, stocks media is crashing, absolutely crashing. And under normal circumstances, I'd feel sorry for the small investors. It's really hard to take the high ground, isn't it, on this, So let's just dip in and see how the stocks are traveling. Named after him, of course, because he can't help himself. He has to name everything after himself. Just a quick look in here. Oh, there'll be more partnerships. Look, as my old dad used to say, there's no cure for stupid. They're still rushing in. There's a victory in the sense of how this will, I don't think it'll recover at all. I think this victory is about a small victory for us as observers of this latest bit of nonsense. I think it's our victory. They'll be lucky to get away with pennies here. This is the behind the scenes. These will be like any pyramid scheme because there's no product. The product lost 58 million last year, like the ones, how can we get out? They're looking at that. But they're going to keep sweet talking the public. You say, just imagine how blessed you are to have Trump shares. What can you say? What can you say? Okay, now we'll come back to the Yeti. We can't stay away, can we? It's impossible. It's just, Matt Gaetz is being investigated by the House Ethics Committee. They obviously hate this guy, or they wouldn't be investigating their own, And this is about the sex with a minor and all that. So, speaking of minors, thank you, Arizona viewers, for pointing out we were talking at the last video about the 1864 law and all of that. And one viewer said in 1864, there was a ruling brought in, the legal age of consent for females was 10. 10. And this is where the religious right goes. I think it's just a giant excuse, because I've always been amazed, even before all this political stuff, as a sociologist, how so many states in America have radically underage marriage laws. Basically, if you have permission of the parents, you can marry at any age, young, young, young. It's diabolical. Where was I going? Matt Gaetz. Okay, let's have a look at Matt, who managed to wriggle out of a very serious charge of trafficking across state lines and all of that, only because his colleague wasn't trusted by the court. They knew, he knew, Gates knew, we knew, everybody knew what had happened. Let's see what the House ethics, so he must have done something really bad. Let's have a look, Matt Gaetz. Okay. Now, this is normally my Biden card, but obviously it can't be in every spread. So I'm thinking this is Gates himself. So let's talk for a moment about the King of Cups, cups being emotion and in general terms. Now, when it's a nice King of Cups, such as Biden, in the sense he's a compassionate man and understands other people's emotions. He's had tremendous personal sadness in his life and he extends that compassion. When the King of Cups is sour or on the dark side, it's someone who manipulates other people's emotions. So I think that's Gates' card. He's become a burden to the party. I don't think it's anything about 17-year-old girls. It's not about that. No. It's about the power that he was wielding, and now they're taking up a defensive stance or almost an attack stance against him because he essentially is too big a personality. There's too many egos in a small space, right? There's only room for so many narcissists in a boardroom. Right? And you've got the Marjorie Taylor Greens and so many other disgusting humans. And so, but they are threatened by him. He's got dirt. He's got dirt on some people. That's why they want to get rid of him. Okay. Should we be surprised? May not. Oh, God. All right. Now, the gag order scenario. Okay, he's already contravened the gag order. But again, this delay. Right. Look, I digress. Now, I understand, even after January 6th and everything else, I understand that any modern democracy would not want to immediately go and arrest the president, and you don't want to set up a tit for tat for each president, you know, threatening the next one and so forth for generations. I understand why there was, you know, discipline, you could call it, at the beginning. But here's the thing, every day he's on every microphone and all media outlets who need to really smarten up their act between now and November, but they all go for the ratings, go for him. And he's constantly saying, not only talking about his crimes openly and things we saw, but condemning the system. These are scam trials. These are corrupt judges. This is Biden weaponizing the world. When I get in, I'm going to take revenge. He says it, you know, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. He says it. So you know what I think? I'm just a humble reader from Australia. Treat him like the serial criminal he is and give him something to complain about, because you keep protecting him within the system and then he still spits in the face of the legal system. So you know what? Just treat him differently from now on. Yeah. Why isn't this happening? Anyway, they might get there in the end. But as it stands with the gag order, that ruling's going to come down on the 24th of April. I'm sorry, the man has an emotional age of 7 going on 8. It's like saying to the 7-year-old, you were really naughty today, so you're not getting a Christmas present in 2026. It's just stupid stuff. He doesn't get it, doesn't respect it, doesn't respond to it. It only inflames him, so give him something to complain about. Put him in his Hannibal Lecter gear in the Perspex box. Okay, but having said that, Judge Mershon has sent out an all caps warning. All caps, they don't normally do that. And it's a nod to the fact that the Yeti, you know, having had a little bit of pharmaceuticals, does all caps. And the all caps thing said, if you do this again, you are facing imminent arrest and jail. If only. But at least he's committed it to paper. He's put it out there. All right. So now, here we go. The extreme court. Now, 3.5 years, or 3 and a bit years since the insurrection, Gersich and Alito are now complaining about Jack Smith's choice of charge, the obstruction charge. Now, why not say this 3 years ago if you had a problem with it? But more to the point, it has serious ramifications. And Clarence Thomas is saying, well, what about peaceful protesters? They could be charged with obstruction. No, they're peaceful protesters. Someone going boo hiss as people walk into Congress is not the same as taking over the building, intimidating officers of the law, terrorizing the entire Congress, both sides of the House, and threatening to hang the VP, with the sole aim and stated aim of preventing the peaceful transfer of power. This is the Supreme Court, and they're struggling with the word obstruction. What the? Okay, so they're going to, this has serious implications too for cases where people are already in jail for obstruction. So hundreds of cases could have to be reviewed. They're dead set on corrupting the system in broad daylight. It's just appalling. Okay, so when are they going to do it? Oh, they're going to rule on it in June or maybe July. I kid you not. So let's see what they're going to say. What they're going to say. Just before I rule on that, that's another thing. We all live in our information silos. And that's why it's a real problem, because if you watch things like Glenn Kirshner, Justice Matters and Midas Touch and things, you have serious lawyers doing their best to stay across this stuff and you think things are progressing. But their hands are tied if the Supreme Court is as bad as it appears to be. So let's have a look. What will they say about the obstruction charges? What will they say about the obstruction charge? Oh, the Knight of Swords is having an outing. Oh, all right. Okay, phew. I think it's going to be okay. Now, this is the impulsive knight into the headwinds. We know that the Heritage Foundation and these other hardcore theocratic types are not going to stop until The Handmaid's Tale is fully delivered. But at the same time, they do have to be seen to be operating in the interests of the American Republic. Behind closed doors, they're doing their numbers, who will vote with this. I think some will take the line. There's 9 justices, so maybe it's the swing votes on this are going to be really important. But the outcome is the strength card. I think the system will hold. I think the system will hold. But we'll revisit that nearer the time. So let me have a look here. Oh, in terms of the witnesses, I know I'm jumping around. Sorry, it's been a manic week. But one I missed here was the witnesses, including Stormy, Karen McDougall, but there is also David Pecker from, is it the National Enquirer? I think it's National Enquirer, and they were part of the catch and kill stuff. Ronan Farrow's done a great amount of investigative work along with other journos on this. So I want to know if David Pecker has got an immunity deal, because this was so looked at legally and journalistically and everything. He has contravened various laws. So my question is, has Pecker got an immunity deal? Let's have a Pecker. Sure does. Okay. So he would have been very worried about this 4 years ago, but he has come to a deal. This is sitting pretty here. The world, this is a very big deal in his world. It also means, of course, it's the end game for much of this New York behaviour. Not that this stuff is unique to New York, it's all over Australia and everything else. But the world is watching this case very, very closely. I think he's got good lawyers, okay? And he gets the victory card, meaning he'll get away with it. But that's okay, I guess, in the big picture. Now, you guys, let's pull some cards for you guys just for the next week, because so much is going on. I love these cases in New York because the Yeti, or the Bino, keeps talking in code to his people. He really wants to see 10,000 people roll up in a bus convoy to support him. But you know what? They can't handle New York. They actually can't handle New York. Yep. Yep. Love that. It freaks them out as a place. They don't know the codes. Every city, if you're a local of a city, you know how your city works inside out. You know all the codes. Okay. Even things like getting on the subway and doing things. Where are they going to stay? It's going to cost them a fortune. He wouldn't pay their hotel bills. So let's just have a quick look for you guys. Okay. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Oh, guys, loving this. 3 major arcana for you. The Fool in the best possible way, right? Taking a risk, putting yourself out there, trying something new, you will get the rewards. You get the World card. You're not alone, even if you're a blue dot in a red state. You're not alone. Hang with like-minded people and work towards the victory in November. How much do I love that? It's awesome. Oh, the granddogs have arrived home. Good timing. All right, guys, look after yourselves and I'll catch you next time. Ciao. Perfect timing.